What's going on? This is Matthew Reyes. Um, Maybe upcoming Christian rapper. Um, I just don't want to be labeled that. Just Christian. Someone that um denied myself and follows Jesus and makes music for him. But I hate to say because I can claim I can be Christian and whatnot, but still I sin. And I still have some of the old, I can say, emotions, maybe like getting annoyed at times, just being mad. Um, but this will be like I can say like a testimony, maybe. Um, how can I say it? So long story short, or maybe just give out the whole story. So basically, I was hold on, man. I'm over here like trying to give up my testimony than just doing all this. So basically, um, it all started when I was like in elementary, maybe at the age of close to 10, maybe, and I was exposed to porn. Can't say names nor relationship, but just say I knew him kinda. Well, for that moment, yeah, and I never talked to him throughout this whole time that I grew up, and so I will say that I'm not blaming him, but I should also blame myself because I was exposed to the corn or the porn, and yeah, that was something I was addicted to because that was like the only thing that I was watching now. And it was until maybe towards middle school, why not? Then I felt like I was, how can I say it? I felt like I was on top of the world. Like I had control over everything and everyone. I assumed that I was a nice kid, but I was still doing these things, and I think it just got worse from there. Um, I was in my actual, you know, cool, chill relationship until I just decided to cheat on her, and that's something you don't want to do. And the only excuse I gave was we were young, but literally ever since I was born, I knew from right and wrong, like I was a gift from God or something. So so that happened. Um, I got into another relationship. Um, Lust took over. Literally, when I first got introduced to porn, it was just a bunch of lust. When it was into the relationships, and it sucked. Like it sucked, bro. So literally every relationship or girl that I talked to was lust. Um, like I wanted her to myself. Um, until I got into this one relationship, which God forbid, she's doing all right. Um, Me and her almost had sexual relations and then a light went off. So then, both of us were like, dang. But, she like took the cake more. Um, I was like trying to laugh it off, but I felt guilty at the same time. And yeah, me and her just stopped talking. Um, then it's hard for me to say this because I never told anybody. I got into this relationship in my sophomore year of high school, maybe junior year, and I guess you know where that goes. And I felt disgusted. I felt distracted. I thought I could not love again because the acts of lust were just all over me. I had a Jezebel spirit. Probably that was with me ever since I was exposed to porn. Um, and yeah, that's like kind of something I still live with, but you know, Jesus is a miracle worker. Um, I don't know if I am saved. I claim to know Jesus. I make songs for him. Um, but it's just that I don't. Well, dang. I just don't know if I'm saved, but he does his works, and I sometimes still struggle with lust here and there. Um, it's something that's been hard for me to succumb or lose, and just like trying to go through every other relationship, um, it just got in the way. And I came to talking to this one girl, which I think me and her were pretty cool. But, you know, just lust. Um, but throughout that time, I was also introduced to drugs, like the weed pens and all that. Oh, yeah, so weed pens came along, the actual marijuana herb. Um, I guess drinking was also a big one, but I smoked more than I drank. Cause to say family situations were like involved consuming of alcohol. Um, well, just keep it at that. Um, it's because I mean, like you can tell anybody, but you just can't tell everybody. I know this is like going up on YouTube or whatnot. Because I know some people give out their testimonies. Um, but I'm just saying, like, you just gotta be careful what you say, cause it'll somewhat backlash on you. But I don't want to give that energy, cause that's how the eight the enemy Satan wants you to think. Um, and the final thing that came out, um, what was it? Well, I mentioned the corn. I mentioned the lust. Oh, so I gave all that up. I have not found anybody to talk to yet. Ever since the last girl I talked to. Um, so you know what I just gave I gave Jesus a chance, and yeah, I'm not doing the things I used to before. I because there was like this one point where I was at a friend's house because we were at her in-laws, and they were drinking, whatnot. I was under the influence. Um,
Turn around
I
when
don't
it is
know.
safe to do so.
It's just that something was like convicting me. I felt guilty every time I did that because I made a promise to my parents that I wouldn't do it, but
Recalculating route.
obviously temptation gets involved, and
In 400
you just can't
yards,
do anything
turn
because
right.
you're just succumbed to it already. Um, but I don't know. Something during
Turn
that night
around
just
when it is safe to do so.
just stopped me from wanting to do all the other things now. So after that, my 19 came along, told some of my closest friends, well, two of my closest friends that I wanted to, grow my strength in faith, believing in God, Jesus, and I told them about, if
In 400 yards,
not
turn
that
right.
if you don't believe, but I mean if you don't believe that you shouldn't be taking punishment for the
Turn
stuff you
right.
did, then you'll be all right.
Recalculating
So I
route.
had to give
At
them
the roundabout, take the
the hard
second exit.
truths, you know. And I would say they said some things. Um, I would say I was laughed at because they sent gifs of like a guy spitting out his drink, laughing. So um, I would say it hurt, but I would say that's like something that you should expect when
In
you
400 yards,
tell
turn sharp
somebody
left.
or some people that you want to grow your faith in God, and change your ways. Um, I'm in contact with one of them. I mean, I've talked to them about it. They seem to understand. Um, maybe a seed was planted. Maybe
Turn
they
around when it is safe to do
agree
so.
somewhat. Um, but I mean, I prayed for them. I wish them the best. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm doing things for the Lord I didn't know I could do. I'm rapping for Him. As soon as you see this
Turn
video, you'll
around
be
when it
introduced
is
to my
safe to
music
do
as
so.
well. There's a playlist called God's Tracks because it's His tracks that I made for Him. Um,
Recalculating
I just
route.
wanted to make
Turn
this
around when it is safe
so
to do so.
just know that if you get into God's word, maybe look up people on YouTube as well that spread the gospel. Then, hey, maybe you'll change your mind.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, the rapping and all, it started because there was this Christian rapper by the name of Afterthought, and he did this SOG called Soldier of God music review. So I decided to pay for a skip. I showed my song. He enjoyed it, which honestly, God bless. I'm glad he enjoyed my first ever single or freestyle that I made for God. Um, Other people liked it too. I showed other people my music, including people that follow me on Instagram, and yeah, I'm talking about God. I'm posting reels about about what Jesus did for me, and I'm making music. So um, I will say this because I read it in Mark, because I'm in the Gospel of Mark. First one that I mentioned about was when and Jesus was on a ship. Um, I forgot where he was going, but there was a man who held 2,000 demons. Remember, 2,000 demons by the name of Legion. So, like, literally, that man with that much of demons literally fell down before Jesus, and like he literally called him child of God, you know, like, or like the son of God. And honestly, like, that's insane. Like, whether you believe it or not, that's insane. And I mentioned that, you know, how no matter how big your temptation is, whatever you want to do that, you know, causes self-destruction, think of Legion. He literally fell down before Jesus with like 2,000 demons inside of him, or a man with 2,000 demons that were named Legion. And another one was when they had 5 bread and 2 fish, and that literally went to like people of like 100-fold, 50-fold maybe. Like, it was, I'd say it was a lot of people that literally from 5 bread to 2 and 2 fish. That's honestly insane. That's literally the miracle worker, bro. Um, I'm just saying, like, anything that you go through, pray about it. Like, whether it's school, whether it's, you know, a job, whether it's toxic relationships, toxic behavior, pray about it, because we're here for like what, 90 to 100 years if you're lucky. Um, I'm just saying, you know, tomorrow's not promised. Every breath is held accountable, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching, and next time.